In 2025, gold screamed a warning the world couldn't ignore. Prices shattered records as central banks scrambled and markets entered a decade-defining turbulence. But while headlines focused on the usual giants, China, the US, the Middle East, a silent shift was happening beneath the surface. Two allies were moving in the shadows. Australia, a gold superpower, began restructuring its $60 billion gold ecosystem, and Canada, not a traditional gold heavyweight, quietly positioned itself inside this shift, not as a buyer, but as a structural partner. This is how Canada entered Australia's gold play, and why it's a geopolitical masterstroke that almost no one noticed. Australia's gold industry was facing a severe squeeze. Rising operational costs, skilled labor shortages, and global inflation were reshaping the economics of extraction. In response, Australian mining companies began a major reorganization. A perfect example was St. Barbara Limited, an Australian miner that announced it was selling off its gold operations in Nova Scotia, Canada. This strategic withdrawal from a North American asset created a vacuum in the flow of capital, ownership, and expertise. And in global resources, when a vacuum like that opens, someone always steps in. Canada, however, didn't step in with a loud announcement or a massive purchase. It entered through the back door, using architecture, not acquisition. The quiet turning point was a G7 meeting in Toronto, where Canada and Australia signed a joint declaration on critical minerals collaboration. Publicly, it was about lithium and cobalt for batteries. But the implications went much further. Gold moves in the same financial ecosystems as these critical minerals. The same companies, the same investors, the same supply chains. By formally linking their minerals ecosystems, the two nations created a corridor that inevitably shapes how gold moves. This architectural move was part of a larger strategy. That same week, Ottawa launched a $6.4 billion critical minerals production alliance, pulling in 9 allied countries, including Australia. This framework positioned Canada as the central organizer of Western mineral flows. While the media focused on electric vehicles, this architecture gave Canada influence over the infrastructure that governs how all minerals, including gold, are financed and moved. Corporate deals like Rio Tinto deepening its work in Canada further tightened the bond between the two mining ecosystems. So, why does this hidden partnership matter? Because gold is more than a metal. It's a barometer of global financial trust. By influencing the system around gold, Canada gains a stronger voice in global economic stability. This move solidifies Canada's role as a key hub in a G7 strategy to build supply chains independent of adversarial nations. It's a classic example of structural influence, power that is built into the foundations of the system itself, quiet by design. For Australia, the partnership provides access to Canada's deep financial markets and renowned regulatory stability. Together, they form a resource axis that shifts power toward a trusted network of democracies. This is the new frontier of resource strategy. It's no longer just about who owns the mine, but who controls the financial, diplomatic, and logistical architecture that makes the mine matter. Canada didn't need to buy its way into the gold game. It built a partnership that gave it access to the entire board, and in doing so, changed the game entirely. If you found this breakdown revealing, please like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what other hidden geopolitical shifts we should explore. Thanks for watching.